He walked away from a high-paying Wall Street job to build a company worth hundreds of billions out of his garage. On July 5th, 1994, Jeff Bezos left his role as a senior vice president at the hedge fund D. Shaw & Co. in New York, moved to Bellevue, Washington, and launched a business he warned could fail with 70% probability. Within 3 years, the company went public. But even at that moment, Bezos wasn't sure his empire would survive the next downturn. What began in a tiny garage would become the engine of a global e-commerce revolution. Meet Jeff Bezos, the American entrepreneur, inventor of ambition, founder of Amazon, once the richest person on earth. His story matters because he didn't just build a business. He rewrote the rules of commerce, transformed how we live and shop, launched a cloud empire, and even reached for the stars with his space venture Blue Origin. He went from a tiny Seattle garage to a global empire, from selling books online to dominating retail, cloud computing, media, and space exploration. This is the story of how one vision grew into one of the most powerful forces on the planet, and what it took to change everything. Jeffrey Preston Bezos was born on January 12, 1964, in Albuquerque, New Mexico. He was the son of Jacqueline Geese, a teenage mother, and Ted Jorgensen, a bike shop owner. But life didn't stop at conventional expectations. When he was just 4, his mother married Miguel Mike Bezos, a Cuban immigrant who adopted Jeff, giving him a new name and a new path. Even as a child, Bezos was unusual. While most kids played games, he tinkered in garages and basements, building radios, electric alarms, and mechanical projects. He loved understanding how things worked, disassembling gadgets and reassembling them. His grandfather's ranch in New Mexico became his playground, teaching him self-reliance, hard work, and a sense of vast possibility. In school, Bezos wasn't just bright, he was relentless. He founded a summer science camp for younger students called the Dream Institute, teaching creative thinking and space exploration. By the time he graduated, he was valedictorian at Miami Palmetto Senior High School, a young man already thinking far beyond the conventional. At Princeton University, Bezos studied electrical engineering and computer science, graduating summa cum laude. He also led the students for the exploration and development of space, nurturing his obsession with space exploration. After Princeton, Bezos' career began with promise. He turned down positions at Intel and Bell Labs, instead taking a role at the fintech startup Fitel. Soon after, he moved to Bankers Trust as a product manager, and then to D. Shaw & Co. as a cutting-edge hedge fund. At Shaw, Bezos' talents shone. By 30, he had become the firm's youngest senior vice president, overseeing major projects in finance and technology. But success came with a silent, gnawing tension. As Bezos climbed Wall Street, he watched the internet explode. In 1993, online commerce was in its infancy, yet usage was multiplying exponentially. He saw a chance that others didn't see. Every other colleague seemed content, but Bezos couldn't ignore the pull. The internet wasn't just a trend, it was the future of business. He began calculating the risk. Could mail-order commerce transition online? Could he build something unprecedented? The question consumed him. He sketched out plans in the evenings, measured numbers obsessively, and dreamed of possibilities while the city slept. His personal life mirrored this tension. He had married Mackenzie Tuttle, and together they faced uncertainty. Bezos shared with her the calculations. Starting an online business meant leaving stability behind. He warned of a 70% chance of failure, yet he couldn't ignore the call. After the first book left the garage, Jeff Bezos didn't pause. He had glimpsed the power of his idea, but he knew the road ahead would test him in ways he couldn't yet imagine. The early days of Amazon were grueling. Every day brought new challenges: server crashes, delayed shipments, and skeptical suppliers who doubted the viability of selling books online. Bezos' philosophy was simple yet revolutionary: grow first, worry about profit later. He reinvested every dollar into inventory, technology, and shipping logistics. The garage no longer sufficed. Amazon expanded into a small office space in Seattle, where Bezos and his team worked 16 or 18-hour days, coding, packing, shipping, and strategizing the next step. The company's growth was explosive. By 1996, Amazon sales reached $15.7 million, And in 1997, the company went public with an IPO at $18 per share. The gamble paid off. Investors were captivated by Bezos's vision of an online marketplace that could eventually sell everything. But Amazon was still just a bookstore. Bezos refused to be limited. He began expanding into music, videos, and consumer goods, laying the groundwork for what would become the largest online retailer in history. Every move was calculated. He believed that customer obsession and relentless innovation would overcome skepticism and competition. Technology played a critical role. Bezos and his engineers developed sophisticated logistics algorithms, inventory tracking systems, and a website optimized for speed and reliability. Customers could order books online, track their shipments, and receive packages faster than any mail order system before. The rise wasn't just in sales, it was in ambition and vision. Bezos pushed Amazon into the digital frontier. In 2002, he launched Amazon Web Services, AWS, a revolutionary cloud computing platform that allowed companies to store data and run applications online. AWS would later become Amazon's cash cow, generating billions in profit and cementing Bezos' status as a visionary far beyond retail. In 2007, the Kindle was introduced, transforming how the world reads. Amazon wasn't just selling books, it was redefining access to knowledge. Later, strategic acquisitions like Zappos, Audible, and Twitch diversified the empire, positioning Amazon as a technological and cultural powerhouse. Bezos' personal habits fueled the rise. He maintained a day-one philosophy, a relentless focus on long-term vision over short-term gratification, and an uncanny ability to predict trends before the world noticed them. He combined data-driven decisions with instinct, a rare mix that few could replicate. By the late 2000s, Amazon had outgrown its humble beginnings. What began in a garage had grown into a company valued in the billions, shaping global retail, cloud computing, and digital media. But Bezos knew this was only the beginning. He set his sights higher, the stars themselves. By 1997, Amazon was no longer just a fledgling online bookstore. It was on the brink of changing the world. The IPO on May 15, 1997, priced at $18 per share, marked a defining moment. Investors who once doubted a company run out of a garage now clamored for a stake in Bezos' vision. The stock opened at $23.50 on the first day and closed at $23.50, a modest gain, but symbolic. It wasn't just about money. For Bezos, it was proof that the world believed in his dream. Amazon could survive. Amazon could thrive. Yet the path was far from smooth. The dot-com bubble loomed on the horizon. Skeptics warned that Amazon's business model would collapse under the weight of expansion. Banks hesitated to lend. Suppliers questioned his logistics. Every growth milestone carried risk. The failure of one shipment, the crash of a server, the loss of a single major investor could have ended it all. But Bezos had already demonstrated a rare trait: fearless vision tempered with meticulous planning. By continuing to reinvest profits into infrastructure, technology, and customer experience, Amazon not only survived but flourished. The company expanded into music, movies, electronics, and beyond. Each innovation, the launch of AWS in 2002, Kindle in 2007, strategic acquisitions, was another step toward building a billion-dollar empire. The true payoff came quietly but decisively. Bezos' stake in Amazon skyrocketed in value as the company dominated e-commerce and cloud computing. By the early 2000s, his net worth exceeded $1 billion, making him one of the youngest self-made billionaires in history. But wealth alone didn't define Bezos. The billion-dollar moment was as much about proof of vision as profit. He had turned a garage startup into a global ecosystem, reshaping how the world buys, reads, and even thinks about technology. Bezos didn't stop there. In 2000, he founded Blue Origin, pursuing his long-held dream of space exploration. In 2013, he acquired the Washington Post, proving that his ambition extended beyond commerce into media, information, and innovation. Each of these moves reinforced the fact that Bezos' empire was more than money. It was influence, vision, and transformation at a planetary scale. By the late 2000s, Bezos had achieved what many believed impossible. He had become a billionaire, not by luck, inheritance, or timing alone, but through relentless risk-taking, foresight, and unyielding focus on growth. Every challenge he faced in the garage, every long night coding, every negotiation with suppliers, every gamble, it had culminated in this moment. The dream was real. The vision was unstoppable. And yet, even at the pinnacle, Bezos's mind looked forward. The billion-dollar moment was not the end. It was the beginning of Amazon's domination, cloud computing's rise, and the first steps toward private space exploration. He had proven the impossible, but the next frontier was even greater. Jeff Bezos' story isn't just about money. It's about vision, risk, and relentless pursuit of the impossible. Behind the billions and the headlines, there are key lessons that anyone, entrepreneur, dreamer, or ambitious thinker, can take away. Lesson 1. Obsession with long-term vision. Bezos didn't chase quick wins. He sacrificed short-term profits to reinvest in growth, infrastructure, and customer experience. Early Amazon ran on razor-thin margins, yet Bezos believed that investing in the future was the only way to dominate the present. Lesson 2. Customer obsession above all. Every decision Bezos made, from fast shipping to easy returns, was designed to delight the customer. He understood that loyalty wasn't bought with ads, but earned through consistent experience and trust. Lesson 3. Embrace calculated risk. Leaving a high-paying Wall Street career was terrifying. Launching Amazon in a garage with uncertain odds was madness to most. But Bezos studied the data, calculated the probabilities, and acted. He knew that failure was possible, but he also knew inaction was a guaranteed defeat. Lesson 4. Start small, think big. Amazon started with books, but Bezos always envisioned everything. He built systems that could scale, always asking, how can this be bigger, faster, smarter? That mindset led to AWS, Kindle, acquisitions, and space exploration. Lesson 5. Relentless curiosity and experimentation. Bezos tinkered as a child. He experimented at Princeton. He coded, tested, and iterated at Amazon. Even when things worked, he asked, how can we improve? This obsession with continuous learning became his engine for innovation. Lesson 6. Surround yourself with the right people. Early on, Bezos recruited Shel Kafan, Mackenzie Bezos, and a team willing to match his intensity. The right team multiplied his vision, turning chaos into an operating system for success. Even at the height of his wealth, Bezos remained curious, restless, and experimental. His story isn't just a blueprint for making billions. It's a lesson in thinking differently, acting boldly, and committing to a vision that others can't yet see. Jeff Bezos had turned a tiny garage startup into a multi-billion-dollar empire. Amazon dominated e-commerce. AWS reshaped the tech landscape. Blue Origin reached toward the stars. Yet even at the height of success, one question remained. What does the future hold for a man who has already conquered Earth and is now reaching for space? Bezos stepped away from day-to-day operations at Amazon in 2021, but his ambitions were far from over. Could he reshape global infrastructure, space travel, and even human civilization itself? Some of his ventures remain veiled in secrecy, leaving the world to wonder what he might attempt next. One thing is clear, Jeff Bezos' story isn't finished. The empire he built is only a stage for his next vision. And while Amazon may have secured his legacy on Earth, the cosmos, literally, may be his next frontier, who knows? And there's one secret he hasn't revealed. One move that could change everything again. The question is, what move, why the move, and are we ready for it?